Well, hello, everybody. It is Wednesday. It's 4 o'clock, and it's time for Hammer Away. I am Viking Stew. This is another edition. It's Viking Stew's debut album, Picks, Volume 2. So, welcome. Looking forward to this.
Can you dig it? Can you
It's been a little bit since I did the first one, so let's get into the show today. We got a few things to tackle here today. Of course, one of the things that I wanted to get into is something that I'd like to share with you all. And what I need to do is I need to find this photo is what I need to do. And I need to do a quick convert because I really want you to see this. This is really, really cool. I received in the mail, I showed you the other day, I had it on the Lightning News Flash about Jeff LaBar's solo album on vinyl. So I got that, and what I want to do is share that with you, and I just need to convert it real quick and blah, 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 because I took a photo of it the other day to send to my friend who also knows his son as well. And we were able to see him right after Jeff had passed. So anyway, that's what we're going to do here. Let's see here what I do here. I'm going to convert that. And where is the thing for it? I don't see it. So maybe, I don't know, maybe I won't show it on here. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see the little window that tells me what to do. Oh, I bet it's hiding behind here. Yeah, there it is. There it is. We got it. Okay. I wonder if I can just do this. Boy, that would be really sweet if I could. There's certain things you can do on a Mac that you can't do on a PC. Certain things you can do on a PC that you can't do on a Mac. It's the way it goes, right? And so sometimes I just try stuff. I'm like, oh, maybe that would work. No. So anyway, like I say, I received this Jeff LaBar's solo album, One for the Road, on vinyl the other day. And this is a piece that comes in it. What is on the backside is another photo. I'll show you that. But we lost Jeff on July 14th. So that was 3 years ago, just passed. On July 14th was the anniversary. So this is like I say, it's a kind of a flyer, a cardboard piece that comes in the with the record. There are a limited amount of these. So, but it says here, Jeff LaBar was known by most for being the guitarist for the rock band Cinderella. He was a loving father and my best friend. He was a musician and a performer. He loved to put on a show for the fans, and he always made time for everyone. If you had even met him once, you would know he was genuine, kind, and humble guy. He loved watching sports, especially football. He loved to quote movies and crack silly jokes. More than anything, he loved his cats and cooking. His laugh could light up a room. Between the mid-'80s and mid-'90s, Cinderella released 4 studio albums: Night Songs, Long Cold Winter, Heartbreak Station, and Still Climbing, all of which Jeff was a key contributor. In 2014, he released his long-awaited solo album, One for the Road. His music brought joy to so many around the world. Rest in peace, Daddy-O. Thank you for all the joy you brought to your family, friends, and fans. His music and legacy will live on in our hearts and in the 80s music community forever. We will never forget you. Sebastian LaBar, known as Baz. He goes by Baz LaBar. I thought that was just a really, really cool, real sweet piece that I would like to share with you guys. On the flip side, then, here you go. There's kind of a memorial piece there. And then there you go. He was a very nice guy. I was very happy to have had a chance to meet him. It doesn't say, there's some liner note things in there where it doesn't say anything about the Naked Beggars. I'm not quite sure, but that was the deal there. I do have a couple of things to unbox. I'm going to hold on one of those, and we'll do that toward the end. So this is a little something we're doing. I'll just give you a little update. The War to End All Wars is moving right along, and still doing some renovations. And I got some stuff I'm going to be doing in the kitchen. So in order to have a little something fun for the kitchen, I saw this. It was inexpensive. Let me open this up so the tag isn't in the way. But I thought this would be great. It suits this house quite well. And it's got a little ding in it. I might have to have them send me a new one because they don't package these right. There you go. Sarcasm now being served daily. So anyway, yeah, it's got a ding in it right in there. You see it there, yeah, see? Right there. So now I get to get a hold of Amazon. It was interesting. I did just get a Headbangers Ball t-shirt from them, which is actually going to go to a friend of mine now. And maybe I didn't switch the small to extra large, but whatever happened, I just said, well, I need to return it. I need to get the right size. Well, they're like, just keep the one you've got. I'm like, oh, okay. So I'll be passing that on to my friend. So we'll get into this. Let's go ahead and get started on this this great debut albums. All right, we've got a few here. One of them, wow, really? Did I not? There's that one, and that one. That's very strange. I thought I had all of them here in picture form. I can get started with it. It's okay, but I think I know what happened. I think. So anyway, if you guys have any ideas on some of your favorites, let me know. Chat them in and let me know what some of your favorites are. Because like I say, one of them today is going to get a mention, which, all right, let's try this one again. That was chatted in before. So, and it was really cool. While we got Salvatore's with us today. What's shaking, Salvatore? I'm going to be doing some gaming maybe tonight, so keep that in mind. I know I'll be doing gaming on the show, but and what's shaking there, Casey? How you doing, man? Salvatore beat you just barely. So yeah, let's get into this. The first one we're going to highlight today, and look at these graphics, is Molly Hatchet. This album is one of my all-time favorites. It came along in 1978 when they had a shift in Southern rock, because up until that time frame, for the most part, we had Outlaws, we had Marshall Tucker, we had Charlie Daniels Band, even though that was a little more country. Same with Marshall Tucker, had a flavor of country. So did Outlaws. The Outlaws had a bit of a country flavor on their earlier works. By the late 70s, the Outlaws had a little bit of a change. I almost could have done that. I almost could have done that, but I didn't. So anyway, but this Molly Hatchet record, let's tell you a little bit about Molly Hatchet first here. Molly Hatchet was formed by Dave Lubeck in Jacksonville, Florida in 1971, experiencing popularity and commercial success during the 1970s and the early 80s among Southern rock and hard rock communities. See, this is what I'm talking about. This album came along when Southern rock started getting just a little bit harder. You had Blackfoot, you had Molly Hatchet, 38 Special, and stuff. And it was right after the passing, after the plane crash of Lynyrd Skynyrd. So the band released 6 studio albums on Epic Records between 78 and 84. Those included Molly Hatchet, Flirting with Disaster, Beating the Odds. And then they also had, they had Beating the Odds. Then they had Take No Prisoners. Then they had, why can't I think of it? He Came Back. No Guts, No Glory. and The Deed Is Done. Those were all. They also put out Lightning Strikes twice, but that whole thing on Epic was Molly Hatchet, Flirting with Disaster, Beating the Odds, Take No Prisoners, No Guts, No Glory. The Deed Is Done and Lightning Strikes twice. So let's see here. I hung out with Molly Hatchet at one point later in their career. So Molly Hatchet, they released many more studio albums. They have, since they're split with Epic in '85. Anyway, so let's tell you a little bit about the album itself. Molly Hatchet is a debut studio album by American rock band and Molly Hatchet. It was released on September 1st, 1978 by Epic Records. The cover is a painting by Frank Frazetta entitled Death Dealer. Starting off both the album itself and recording career of the band, the first song famously begins with lead singer Danny Joe Brown growling, "Hell yeah." And that's the song Bounty Hunter. Dreams I'll Never See is a cover of the Allman Brothers song Dreams from their debut album via Buddy Miles's reworking of the song from Them Changes in 1970. So the album has 9 tracks on it originally: Bounty Hunter, Gator Country, Big Apple, The Creeper, The Price You Pay, Dreams I'll Never See, I'll Be Running, Cheatin' Woman, and Trust Your Old Friend. So The Creeper is a great song to add to your Halloween list. So you might want to think about that. Yeah, but a fantastic record. One of my all-time favorite albums. I bought the T-shirt. I have the poster of that painting. Frazetta is one of my all-time favorites. So it was a great album. Now the next one we've got is, there you go, Asia. I really enjoy it. Now remember, I'll bring this up in a minute. So Asia was a debut studio album by the English rock supergroup Asia, released in 1982. According to both Billboard and Cashbox, it was the #1 album in the United States for the year, and it contains their biggest hit, Heat of the Moment, which reached #4 in the U.S. On the Billboard Hot 100. So that is a group, of course. It had John Wetton, who had been in King Crimson, Uriah Heep, and his own band UK, and then guitarist Steve Howe from Yes, Jeffrey Downs on keyboards from Yes and the Buggles, and drummer Carl Palmer from Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Their debut album. So that was, so this is just a fantastic record, start to finish. It includes the songs Heat of the Moment, Only Time Will Tell, Soul Survivor, One Step Closer, Time Again. Then side 2 had Wildest Dreams, Without You, Cutting It Fine, and Here Comes the Feeling. There is also a bonus track. I suppose that bonus track may have been recorded at the same time. That's the thing that kind of throws me about some of these bonus tracks anymore, is that I'm never quite sure if they were recorded at the same time as the album, because sometimes you've seen some of these and they've got extra tracks, but they just put tracks from this time on this album remaster, and that kind of drives me nuts. But some of my favorite songs on this record, Wildest Dreams is one of my favorites. Only Time Will Tell is great. I love every song on this record. However, some of my favorites, Soul Survivor is another one of my and Cutting It Fine. Cutting It Fine is fantastic. And this Ride Easy tune, I need to look it up because I haven't heard that yet. On their next, was it their second record? On Alpha, is it Alpha? Yeah. If you check out their cassette, it's out now on CD. It's on their collections and maybe on a remaster of the CD. But they had Daylight, which, like I say, it appears on other Asia releases now. But Daylight's a great extra tune too. So if you've never heard that, it was all at the time. I bought the vinyl and it was only on the cassette version. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? So yeah, Daylight by Asia. Check it out. Next, we've got one of my all-time favorites and one that is a huge album in the multiplicity situation in my collection is British Lions. This album is just such a huge favorite of mine. I've talked about it a million times on here, and let's learn about the British Lions. So British Lions were a short-lived British rock band, not surprisingly, together from 77 to 79 with 4 members of Mott and Medicine Head. They toured Britain extensively as in support of Status Quo, whose management they shared, and AC/DC, but were more successful in America. Interesting. They released 2 studio albums with little commercial success in the UK. Their second album was rejected by RSO and then by Vertigo, and they disbanded in 79. The release rights were acquired by Cherry Red, who released it the following year. Their debut album was reissued in 2023 by Think Like a Key Music. So yeah, I've got their CD release of this, and the second album was called Trouble with Women. It was released on June 6th, 1980, but this album was released February 10th, 1978. My friend Bob told me about this album. This is one of those in the history of Bob, my buddy Bob Glidden. He played this for me, and I fell in love with it. Found a copy myself, and now I just buy it whenever, and I give it to friends, send it to friends. So like tomorrow, I'm going to be heading out and shipping one out to my friend Cher. So it's just a fantastic record. If you've not heard it, please take your time and listen to it. And you will love it. Now, I have only one this time because I don't want to, oh, wait, before I do that, sorry. I do have a couple of honorary mentions. So I got some information on these too. The honorary mentions, and the reason that I have these two is because I don't own them on vinyl. As I said, these are debut albums that I own on vinyl. So it's just me. I mean, it's that way. It's not so big and geez, you could talk about all these albums and debut albums. That's true, but I don't own them. So I'm not steeped in a history with all of these. Right. So that's kind of where I'm sticking. So, yeah, Asia is great. And, Asia is one of those bands that, it just kept going. Jeffrey Downs kept it going for decades. And then some of the original, then John Wetton came back and they were doing it again as the original lineup. And there's I think they did 3 albums like that, and they're pretty good. They're definitely not garbage. There was some, and I don't want to use that term for all the in-between Asia. If there's a lot of that you guys like, I mean, it is what it is. It just wasn't what I was loving. So Keithrick, what's up? Hello, welcome. 14 days. 14 days. So, oh wait, is it Kethrick? It's Kethrick. That's what it is. I said it different. I said it wrong. So yeah, so I think that is talking about our getting back to school. Such a thrill. Oh, and here, got my Burning Witches shirt on before I do the reveal of our next piece. So the next one we're going to talk about is an era debut. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's an era debut, but I was going to do my honorable mentions. I'm sorry. I'm all screwed up. I read one of those and I get all screwed up. Our honorable mentions that I don't own on vinyl. One of them I own on CD, but I do not own the other one. First of all is Hybrid Ice. It's a great album, 1987. Check it out. I've talked about it a million times. And I am also wanting to tell you about Face Dancer. Check out This World from 1982. Lounge Dweller suggested it, and it is a great record. he suggested it. They suggested it on 6/26. So my show last month, about this same time last month, Lounge Dweller popped in and mentioned about that album. So do yourself a favor and check it out, because it's a great record. It's a really great record. I do know which other one I'm going to talk about the next time. I'm going to probably do this maybe once a month, maybe more if you'd like. Well, it just depends. Now, as far as the new era debut albums, we are going to talk about Van Halen 5150. I mean, what a great record. I was fortunate enough to be working on the radio when this came out. And here's a little bit about it. 5150, and it says on the internet, it says pronounced 5150, not 5150. Is the 7th studio album by American rock band Van Halen. It was released on March 24th, 1986. And I had just started working on the radio when this album came out. So it was on Warner Brothers and was the first of 4 albums to be recorded with lead singer Sammy Hagar, who replaced David Lee Roth. The album was named after Eddie Van Halen's home studio, 5150, in turn named after a California law enforcement term for the mentally disturbed person, a reference to Section 5150 of the California Welfare and Institutions Code. The album hit #1 on Billboard 200 chart because, if you remember, it surpassed the previous album, 1984, which had peaked at #2 behind Michael Jackson's Thriller album, on which Eddie made a guest appearance. And Alex was very not happy about that. The album was remastered by Don Landy and released on October 6th, 2023, as part of the collection 2 of 4 studio albums with Hagar, plus an extra disc of 8 rarities from this era. So there you go. So it was pretty wild. But yeah, the album debuted. We had the single Why Can't This Be Love, and on the backside it had Get Up. And I've mentioned it here maybe once or twice that I had to turn it over because we needed to know what was on the other side, right? The song tracks, a lot of these albums that I'm talking about have only 9 songs. Isn't that interesting? And I wonder, now I need to go back. Let's look at, I didn't say anything about the British Lions album. It had 9 tracks on it. One More Chance to Run, which we play in my band. Wild in the Streets, which is a Garland Jeffries tune. Break This Fool, International Heroes, Fork Talking Man, My Life's in Your Hands, Big Drift Away, Booster, and Eat the Rich. Eat the Rich is a hilarious tune. It's a great way to end it. On 5150, we've got Good Enough, Why Can't This Be Love, Get Up, Dreams, Summer Nights, Best of Both Worlds, Love Walks In. 5150, which is reportedly from a little video that I saw with Michael Anthony, that's been his favorite tune to rehearse and get ready to play, because he said he loves that song. He hasn't played it in a while, and he's been enjoying playing it. And then the final track on the album is Inside, which is kind of a funny track, and they do a little scat back and forth at each other. Mick Jones was one of the producers on this album, Don Landy as well, and illustration was done by Dan Chapman. So also sharing producer was Eddie and Alex. So great records. I don't know if you guys have any of your favorites that you like that are debut albums. I do know what some of them will be next time. And but keep in touch about that. Let me know though some of your favorite debut stuff, or some of your favorite songs. What are some of your favorite songs on these records? From 5150 is one of my favorite tunes. If you're talking about songs that I just love to hear on the album, Get Up is another one of them. And of course, Why Can't This Be Love is just really, really cool. I was talking about it last night. I made a playlist of stuff that I played in '86 on the radio. And one of those tracks was Boston. They had Amanda was a big hit because Third Stage had come out, and I loved the song. I just couldn't believe that they started with a ballad like that. And even though they did, I hadn't expected it to be the first song on the record. So that was kind of wild, kind of weird. But that's the way it goes. So today, also, I wanted to do a little bit of a crafty thing with you because I found this. And my new Beats. If you don't have Beats, I don't know what kind of headphones do you guys use out there? I love these Beats Bluetooth. I just bought a new pair. They had a big sale on Amazon, and so I bought the studio, the real nice studio ones. Whatever that extra word is on that they throw on there that makes it sound even better. So I went to Rockin Pod a couple of years ago, and so Ricky Rackman was there, and so they always have booths where they are, and you can purchase one of their photos, they'll autograph it, that kind of thing. So I had it in this frame, and I was like, oh, but all I had behind it was the paper that came in with it. So what I was thinking, I could have just flipped it around if I wanted to do white, but what I have is I've got a bunch of old Tolex samples, and that have just been hanging out and waiting to be done with them something. So they've been awaiting their destiny, if you might say. So what I thought I would do is I'm going to cut this out, and I'm going to put this in here as a background. And then we'll see how that comes out. I think today's going to be kind of a short show, which is fine. So what I'm going to do is do this second unboxing. Says what I also found out on the on that big Amazon deal day, they had a couple of box sets that I've been looking for too. I'm a big Hanna-Barbera fan. I love, Scooby-Doo, Space Ghost, all of the things that go along with that. So when you're doing that, you're talking about Space Ghost, Mighty Mightor, Birdman. I can't think of the other one. Also was a big Samson and what was it? Young Samson and Goliath? Always loved that. The guy who rode around on a scooter with his dog, and then he'd smash his armbands together, and his dog would turn into a lion, and he'd be this big buff dude with a funky haircut. So I went ahead and ordered on Blu-ray. They had them. They're Space Ghost. These are normally like $20 to $25. So this is the complete series with Dino Boy, as you can see there. And I found that for $12.99. So I picked it up. And then also they had Herculoids. Now this one, I'd almost purchased it a long while back, because I've been watching this price. Almost picked it up for $18. And then I was like, one day I thought, maybe I'll look it up. I looked it up. It was up to 25. So I was like, So I've been waiting to see if it'd go back to 18, when all of a sudden I took a look on that Amazon day and it was down to $14.99, $15. So I ordered it. I said, I'm in. So I did it. I think pretty much, guys, I think that might do it for today. If there's like I say, if there's anything you'd like me to cover, anything you want to chat about, and anything else that you'd like to reflect on these albums, just let me know and put it in, and I'll take care of it. We'll talk about it and we'll chat. Always love chatting. It's great, man. So you guys all have a great, wonderful evening. I'll be back at 7 o'clock tonight with Go Game Go, and we can hang out there and we can be doing some game time. So everybody have a good evening. Take care, and we will talk with you soon.